What is up, average viewers? Welcome back to another episode. I am Joshua, your average viewer for the day. And today, we are not going to watch anything. We are here to talk about Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, I finally saw the movie. The movie came out on Thursday. Today is Saturday. I've been busy, I'm sorry. But nevertheless, I reacted to the trailer of this film when it came out. And when I reacted to that, I said that this film is important because Marvel has been kind of on a downhill as far as quality. The movies just haven't been that great. Multiverse, it's been confusing, just hasn't been it. Also, the Fantastic Four, there's been a couple versions of live action Fantastic Fours that have just not have been it. And then this is the first time the MCU has tried to implement the Fantastic Four, other than Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. You know, they had Reed Richards. But this is the first official Fantastic Four in the MCU. So, very significant, in my opinion, and I very much enjoyed the movie. I really liked it. There's a lot to like in this film. Not only just what they were able to accomplish, but also I think the fact that this film is very much on its own. You don't need to know. I don't think you need to see any other Marvel film to enjoy this film, which is cool, which is refreshing, because the rest of the Marvel films have felt very much connected, and sometimes feels like homework. Like, to watch this 10th film, do I need to know any of the previous ones? Whatever. Fantastic Four First Steps, great time. I very much enjoyed it. First off, let's talk about the Fantastic Four. Now, before I get into anything, this is going to include spoilers. I believe the whole embargo and everything has already passed, so there's going to be spoilers in this video. The Fantastic Four, I think the cast was very well casted. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, I think he did a great job. I was a little concerned when I first heard that Pedro Pascal was going to be cast as Reed Richards. I was kind of like, why him? Is it just because he's popular right now? He's in everything. Is that a good decision just to pick that guy because he's popular? I think he did a good job. Reed Richards is the smartest man on earth, I believe. He is the face and the leader of the Fantastic Four, and I felt all of that in this version of Reed Richards. Pedro Pascal, yes, he sounds the same, right? So when you see Pedro Pascal in any other movie and you see this movie, you hear Pedro Pascal, sure. But his performance as Reed Richards, I did buy it. I felt a superior intellect from this individual. I felt almost like that intellect was a curse. He always seemed like he was trying to solve a problem, or there was always a problem on his mind that was concerning him, and his duty was to solve it. That's what I felt from his performance. Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby. Now, I've never seen Vanessa Kirby in anything. I'm sure she's been in some stuff, but I very much liked this version of Sue Storm. She felt strong. She felt brave. There was a scene where she took a stand. She stands on her 2 feet, embracing. She felt very strong and brave like that. Also very intellectual. In this film, as you know from the trailers, she is pregnant, and so she becomes a mother. I felt like her bond with her child was very heartfelt. And actually, the whole Fantastic Four, once the child is brought into the picture, you do believe like this is a family, and now they have this baby and they all care for it. It's really cool. It did feel like a family, some uncles and a parents, you know what I mean? Johnny Storm, Sue Storm's brother, what's his name? Joseph Quinn. I was also a little concerned when I heard Joseph Quinn was casted for Johnny Storm. I thought, again, he was in Stranger Things. I don't know if he's been in a whole lot, but I feel like Stranger Things was his debut to this greatness, right? After Stranger Things, he was mentioned everywhere. And yeah, he did a good job in Stranger Things, no joke. But I was just like, oh, maybe, obviously I'm not there for the auditions or anything, but let's not cast people just because they were good in one thing. Let's make sure that we cast the right person. And I think Joseph Quinn did a great job as Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm being the immature girls man, you know what I mean? There was also some rumors that he was going to be toned down as far as his womanizer character. I didn't feel that at all, really. He was somewhat of a womanizer. He flirted and stuff like that, but he was also a character that was he had his own problems. Like he was trying to work on himself. He was trying to be more than just that. He was trying to be heard, I guess. And then there's Ben Grimm. Man, I forget his name. Forgive me. The guy from The Bear, Evan Back Ross. Damn, Evan. I don't have my phone. Something Backross, Evan Backross, something like that. Please forgive me. I know I'm gonna get destroyed in the comments. I've never seen this guy act in any. Oh no, I've seen him in no hard feelings. No hard feelings. The comedy with Jennifer Lawrence. He was like the tow truck driver. He had a very minor role in there, but man, I gotta tell you, I think The Thing was my favorite character. For some reason, this character, which is the most inhuman, right? You look at him and he's a rock monster. Whenever he was talking, whenever he was present on screen, I felt the most comfortable, the most welcoming and warmth from him. I felt he was the most human. It was weird. I don't know. The tone of his voice, I know that even I thought this in the trailer. His voice wasn't monstrous. You know, when you think of The Thing, when he transforms, becomes a thing, you think of him being like, hey, it's clobbering time or something like that, right? No, they kept his regular voice, and I think it helped, actually. I very much enjoyed it. It humanized this monster. And yeah, I gotta say, every time I wanted to see more of him. Not only that, but he looked amazing. The Thing looked amazing. Whenever I saw him on screen, whenever he was talking or doing whatever action scene, not even an action scene, he was in the kitchen with Herbie or whatever the hell they were doing, cooking and stuff. It looked so good. It looked like photorealistic rock. It just looked so good. I loved how his eyebrows like protruded his face more than they should. Like it just looked straight out of a comic. I loved it. The Thing, my absolute favorite character in this movie. Now the movie, it starts off, you know, you're in this new world, 828, I believe is what it was. So it's not our Earth, it's their Earth. It gives like a quick flashback origin story to them. They went up, they got their powers, they came back, and we love them because they protected Earth. So the Earth civilians love them. And then one day Silver Surfer comes in and she basically just says like, hey, your Earth is marked for death and Galactus is coming. So the Fantastic Four say, okay, well, let's go see what this Galactus threat is about. They go up, they meet Galactus, and Galactus says, Galactus, before we talk about the scene, Galactus is amazing. It's so cool to see a full-fleshed version of Galactus. In the previous Fantastic Four movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer, we got a cloud version of Galactus. Not cool, bro. Galactus is this massive celestial being with a sick helmet, just sick armor. He looks so cool, and this was straight out of the comics. Awesomeness. So Galactus, they go up to talk to Galactus to see what he wants, and he tells the Fantastic Four, like, I was once small, tiny like you, but he was cursed or whatever, and now he is obligated, and he's cursed with this hunger, and that's why he feeds on planets. So they were trying to figure out like what he wanted and stuff, and he said, your child, because Sue was pregnant at the time when they were there talking to Galactus, your child possesses the cosmic power, or power cosmic. And he says that the child holds the potential to quench his hunger or something like that. So Galactus says, give me your child and I will spare your world. Obviously, the Fantastic Four are not going to do that, so they say no. They go back to Earth, and the civilians on Earth are like, so what happened? How did you beat Galactus? And they straight up tell him, we didn't beat him. He wanted our son, and we said no, which basically leaves the Earth in danger, which is really cool because like the dynamic was these civilians, this Earth loves the Fantastic Four. And then the Fantastic Four go and talk to this threat, come back and say, sorry, but we're not going to necessarily fix this threat at the moment. We are still in danger because he wanted something of ours that we're not willing to give. And then it turns the Earth civilians on their head. They start to hate the Fantastic Four. They're literally saying, give up the baby. It's one baby versus the entire planet. Oh, and this is another great thing. Reed Richards, most intellectual man or whatever, right? There's a moment in the movie where Reed Richards is talking with the Fantastic Four, and they're talking about how planet Earth and the civilians, how it's getting ugly, how the civilians are turning against the Fantastic Four, showing their ugly side because the civilians, are willing to sacrifice the baby for themselves. One baby for trillions of people on the planet, right? So the Fantastic Four are talking about that, and Reed, he says something along the lines of, it's understandable, their anger, their frustration. It's understandable to give up our child so that their problem is solved. And, the Fantastic Four, the rest of them hear that, and Sue hears that, and she's like, what are you saying? Or like, how could you say that? Or how could you think that and stuff? And Reed Richards is basically saying, it's not that I agree with them, but I do see what they're saying. It makes sense. To them, their problem goes away if we do this one thing, one sacrifice versus many. And they have a moment there, Reed and Sue, where Reed is basically letting it off on her, saying, I'm sorry, but this is who I am. This is what I do. I'm the smartest man on earth. I think of these things in order to prevent these things from happening. So yes, he has thought that, yes, giving our child would solve this problem, but that's not what I'm trying to do. So what is like another equation that we can do to solve this problem? So they're bickering or whatever, and he's trying to say like, oh, this is who I am or whatever. And then Sue says, well, sometimes who you are hurts me. And that was just a great moment. It shows like the curse that Reed has, being the most intelligent man on the planet. And I don't know, like it humanizes him, or it makes it like relative. I just feel like, even myself, like I'm married and stuff, and there are times when I think something that my wife might not agree with, and she'll be like, how could you think that, or something, and it's not that I agree with it. It's not that that's what I'm trying to do. It's just, it makes sense to think of this possibility, basically. I don't know. I just liked that point. But yeah, so basically the Fantastic Four, the plan is, Reed Richards comes up with a plan to teleport the Earth to a different part of the universe. That way Galactus can't come and do what he needs to do. Earlier in the film, Reed Richards teleports an egg, basically just foreshadowing that he can do this. He's unlocked the ability to teleport. So that's the plan. They set up these machines all over the world so that the world can be teleported. As they're about to teleport, the Silver Surfer comes in and destroys all the machines, so we cannot teleport anymore. There's only one machine left, and it happens to be right in front of the Baxter Building. And the new plan is now, okay, what if we lure Galactus here to this teleportation machine and we teleport him away rather than the whole world? So Galactus comes. They basically use Baby Franklin as bait. He comes and they try to do that. Obviously, it's not as simple as that. They fight him and stuff like that, which is so cool. It's so cool to see Galactus, this giant, and he's just walking through the street, destroying buildings. The Fantastic Four doing what they can to stop him or slow him down. He has the baby in his hands. Like, it's just crazy. And basically, man, Sue Storm, she has a moment of power that I did not know she was capable of. She's like Omega level mutant, apparently. She has like her invisible shield, invisible force field abilities, right? Galactus is not in the position of the teleportation device, so she uses her force fields to like push him back into position. And it's working. Like, this is a huge ass like skyscraper of a character, and she's like boom, pushing him and stuff. And I guess the effort that she had to use to do that ends up killing her. So it works, right? She pushes Galactus into the teleportation area. It starts to teleport him away. He's like fighting it, trying to get through and stuff. And Johnny Storm, Human Torch, is like, I'm going to have to push him in because he's not going in. So he tells the Fantastic Four, tell Baby Franklin that Uncle Johnny loves him. He's about to sacrifice himself. It's crazy. So he's flying in. He's trying to like push him in. And then the Silver Surfer has a change of heart. There's a story behind that, but Silver Surfer has a change of heart doing what she's doing. She comes and knocks Johnny out of the way so that she could be the one to push Galactus into the teleportation device, which sends them both into a different part of the universe. Silver Surfer has, I want to say, basically the same story as Norrin Radd. I think it was the same. Galactus came to their planet and she sacrificed herself to spare the planet. I will be your herald, spare my planet. So that's basically what happened. In the movie, the Fantastic Four are receiving, like audio signals, and it's a language that they don't understand. And what they were able to figure out by the end of the movie is that these audio signals, this language, is from like the Silver Surfer's planet, or different planets that the Silver Surfer came and got ready for Galactus to consume. So crazy enough, Johnny Storm is the one who like deciphers this language and ends up telling the Silver Surfer, hey, these languages, I learned it and stuff. Look, this is your planet saying this. This is a different planet. They're all like crying out because you guys are destroying these worlds. And she starts to feel bad for what she's doing. She doesn't want to be the herald. She was obligated or pushed into it to save her planet. There's a lot of emotion in this film. Not that it's a bad thing. Sorry if I said it like that. But the civilians of Earth loved the Fantastic Four and then hate the Fantastic Four because they're unwilling to spare their child. The Fantastic Four were loved and then they're hated, and now they're trying to do anything they can to save this baby. There's so much emotion into it. Even Galactus doesn't want to be the devourer of these worlds. He's tired of it. He sees it as a curse, and he wants the baby to solve this problem for him. I don't know if he consumes the baby, he'll be done, or if the baby is strong enough to be the next Galactus. I'm not 100% sure. And then the Silver Surfer, she doesn't want to do what she's doing, but she's doing it reluctantly because she serves under Galactus. Sue Storm dies with her effort trying to push Galactus into the portal, and Galactus and the Silver Surfer will push through, so they're gone. Earth is safe. Sue Storm dies, and everybody's there with her, crying over her and stuff, and the baby's there with them. And I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know a lot about Fantastic Four or Franklin Richards, but apparently he is like one of the strongest characters in Marvel history. He has the ability to create universes. He has the power cosmic in him. And so Sue's lying there dead. Everybody's there with her, and the baby's crying for his mom. The Fantastic Four put the baby on the mom so he can be with her or whatever. And he brings her back to life. She's laying there dead, and she gets up with like a gasp of air, and her eyes change. It almost looked like a universe in her eyes. It looked like stars or something like that. But I believe that was like the baby Franklin's powers bringing her back to life, which is crazy. Like that's just crazy. Yeah, and then the day is saved, the world is saved, everybody's happy and stuff like that. And then there's the end credit scene. Now, I only saw one. I saw the first one. I heard that the second end credit scene was not important, so I stayed for the first one. The end credit scene, the Fantastic Four are still on Earth, and it says 4 years later. 4 years later, the baby is now a 4-year-old, and the mom, Sue Storm, is reading a book to him. Now, she reads him a book, she finishes it, and she goes to get another one. She leaves the scene, she comes back, and as she comes back, you see her face, and she's kind of startled. She's staring at something. And then you see Franklin Richards, 4-year-old, kind of like looking up or touching the face of Doctor Doom. Now, we don't see Robert Downey Jr., we don't see who's Doctor Doom, but you see a green hooded figure, and then his mask, his metal mask, is in his hand, like down here to his side. So baby Franklin is looking at the face of Doctor Doom, and you see the mask here on his side. It's crazy. Now, I had heard a leak or a rumor. I watch New Rock Stars, The Den of Nerds, Heavy Spoilers, Screen Crush, all these guys. And I'm pretty sure all of them leaked. Not that they leaked, but they were talking about a leak of the end credit scene for this film. And this was it. So as soon as I saw Sue Storm reading a book to the baby for the end credit scene, I was getting nervous. I was like, oh shit, like this is it? Like it's real? Okay, so we're about to see Doctor Doom. And yeah, so you see that. Now, I have to say I was a little underwhelmed when I saw it, when I saw Doctor Doom. I don't know what it was. I don't know, maybe the fact that it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. We didn't see his face. We didn't hear him or anything. They weren't saying anything. Sue Storm literally looked at him, we saw him, and the baby just looking at each other. And that was it. Like, there was nothing said. There was very little context to it. So it's like, and then also in the film, I know I saw one hint or Easter egg of Victor Von Doom. It was when I think the nations were gathering for the Future Foundation, and we saw Latveria with an empty seat. That's the only thing that I saw, but I was just like, what? Like, where is this Victor Von Doom? Where is this Doctor Doom? How is he here? What's going on? Obviously, the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, have a history with Victor Von Doom, but we got none of it in this movie, and then he just appeared in the end credit scene. So I don't know if I felt like it was rushed or forced. Doomsday, the Avengers Doomsday is coming up, so right, like they need to introduce him somewhere somehow, but it just felt weird to me. It felt not as impactful or significant as it should. This is Doctor Doom, bro. Like, and the first time we see or hear of him, I feel like it should have been meteor. But nevertheless, that was the end credit scene. Very important, very significant. I don't know if in that scene he is going to be seen, or for the first time we see him like on film, he's going to be seen as a threat or a friend. That's, I don't know. I feel like that's up in the air. You guys let me know. But yeah, man, Fantastic Four First Steps. I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie that we've had. Visually, it looked amazing. Like I said, the Thing looked great. The Silver Surfer, she looked great. There was a lot of like cosmic scenes that looked so cool. Galactus looked amazing. There was so many scenes in this film where my mouth was like, oh, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Like, it's so cool. Galactus, black holes, cosmic space chases, Silver Surfer, like the Thing, the Fantastic. It was just so cool. Yeah, I feel like this movie was important for Marvel, and I feel like Marvel nailed it. I feel like they did a great job. Now, it's not perfect, but I think they did a great job. This is definitely a step in the right direction versus a step back. There's just been films, like I liked Thunderbolts, the last one. That was definitely a step in the right direction also. But Captain America Brave New World, I thought was not very good. What was before that? Maybe Deadpool and Wolverine. That was good, but that's kind of like a Deadpool movie, MCU-ish, you know what I mean? But yes, Fantastic Four, it's supposed to start off the Phase 6. I don't even know what that phase is. Cosmic or something? I'm not sure. But yeah, the film was really good. I very much enjoyed my experience with it. It's really cool how this film is in its own world, so anybody can just jump in and enjoy the film. You don't need to know what's going on with the Avengers or anything like that. And this will lead you into the next phase. This will lead you into Doomsday and all that stuff. And at the end of the film, it does say that the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. So, man, we'll see. Yeah, I'm glad it was a good movie. I'm glad I liked it. I hope it does well, and I hope the rest of you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought, guys. Please leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's talk about it. Is the MCU back? I don't know, but it's coming back for sure, right? I was Joshua. Thank you for joining me. You'll see me in the next one. Average Viewers out.